Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 2! The games have been continuing in our time off. We had, well, my time off, which actually hasn't been time off in the last hour. They've been continuing, and Asia has already reached round 2 and 3. Just so people know, round 2 is a upper and lower bracket round. Round 3 is just a lower bracket round, so do not be surprised if you don't see many round 3 games, if it just goes from round 2 to round 3, to round 4, because we mostly stick in the upper bracket games in terms of the stuff that we cover over here. But if we see anything important, we will be jumping into the lower bracket. So, on the left-hand side, here in Asia on PC, we have DireWolves MR, I assume Marvel Rivals. And on the right, a name that you all may not be familiar with, but you will recognize some of the player names if you've been keeping up with my content. It is Eternity Era. Now, this is a Southeast Asia team, I believe. In fact, I believe they are Taiwan, if I am not mistaken. They played under Just Be Happy, or Must Be Happy, or something similar during Season 1, and that team made it all the way to the, final 16, and they only lost in the upper bracket quarterfinals to Invincible, the team that went on to win the whole thing, and a little bit later to Marv2L Riva 1S in a 3-2, the team that went on to come second. So they've only lost to the top 2 teams. They've got a couple new members here. They've done a little bit of swapping out. Some pretty standard bans mostly across the board here. So let's see if Eternity Era could go even further this time. They've done well to make it here. Let's see what else they can do as we are heading in to our best of 3 series here in the upper bracket round 2 for the Marvel Rivals Championship. On the left-hand side, on defense of Symbiotic Surface, it is DireWolves MR with IX9 playing Doctor Strange. Possum will be playing the Mantis. I like that name. Daxu will be on the Winter Soldier. God Complex Links, great name, gonna be on Magneto. Jalem will be playing on the Invisible Woman, and Wuvo will be playing the Hela. And on the right-hand side, on attack, it is going to be Eternity Era, with Ray Momo playing Doctor Strange, Alone Fills, or Alone Fills, playing on the Mantis. Visace will be playing, Vitusace, we're going to call him Visace, will be playing on the Magneto. AV7 is on Hela. Lumi will be playing the Adam Warlock. And NTTA is on the Invisible Woman. I'm Tetcher. Let's get this match underway. Adam Warlock banned out in most of the games we've been seeing here. And already, we're going to see Eternity Era stepping up onto the point, going to try and claim control here. Utilizing the shield of the Invisible Woman and the Cosmic Clusters for the maximum burst damage. Ray Momo trying to hold the choke point, trying to give them the space they need, while Vi is trying to be the one to step onto the point, but they're getting pulled off it with the bionic hook here. And that percentage not yet hitting the third, finally getting the first third, and DireWolves coming back from spawn by the looks of it. They lost a couple members here, aren't able to hold the line. Cosmic Clusters in the choke point as we are up. No one's going to step on, and that is going to be point number 1 taken by Eternity Era as they continue the aggressive chase onto DireWolves. Damage output very solid right now. Alone Phil's also getting a pickup here. The triple strategist composition with the solo Hela as the duelist here. Doing some great work. Most of the strategists got nerfs to that ultimate cooldown ability, meaning that they have their ultimates a little less often. So 3 strategists make it a little bit harder to gain the value out of it, but Adam Warlock fits in with that so well because their damage output neutralizes a little bit of the loss here. Now they're going to try and do it. Soul Bond and Karmic Revival with the shield from Invisible Woman, allowing them to get that invisible boundary, bringing everyone back into the fight. That is going to be the healing from the Mantis, and Meteor M for the double, taking out Daxu and Jalen. God Complex goes down, IX9 goes down, as AV7 cleans up the rest of the team. Wuvo has to retreat, nowhere near able to defend this, as this cart will continue to move in. Possum did go down. Coming back, rejoining their team as they're going to try and portal. Can they make it in time? They've got 9 meters left to go through the portal. They will touch, they will delay, but Wuvo takes to the sky to try and buy some time with that Goddess of Death, but AV7's going to be maxing the same. Lumi goes down to the Kraken impact, meaning that we are seeing Eternity Era start to get cleaned out here. Wuvo doing huge work, doing massive damage, but down to 7 HP, healed up, back in the fight as IX9 will continue to push on in. Hasanai and Okamoto may try to push in and force the issue to capitalize as they do huge damage with that Maelstrom of Madness to zone out the members of Eternity Era, and DireWolves will drive them back. Nice block on the Cosmic Cluster there. Will be forced to back away though, but they got a zone. They've managed to get one hold so far. Eternity Era, they do not have portal of their own here. AV7 looking for the right angle, blocked by the terrain, will find Wuvo and picks them off with the double. Creeping forward, God Complex goes down, Jalen goes down, finds the Doctor Strange, that's going to be pulled out and picked off alone. Phils takes out Daxu. Daxu bringing out the Adam Warlock of their own here as DireWolves just go for the copy, bringing out a triple strategist of their own, almost the exact same composition. In fact, yes, the exact same composition to try and bring it back. Even with the nerfs to Strange, when we're starting to see a couple of the regions use him a little bit less, we still see it in Asia very often, that double shield setup. Strange and Magneto as the main combo. God Complex trying to zone in, invisible boundary to give him the extra space, but Meteor M to try and burst through. Blocked out though, finds nothing. That's going to be a beautiful Eye of Agamotto as DireWolves trying to turn it, but it's been countered out. The counter's turned and DireWolves will fall across the board. Wuvo only just respawning and they will be zoned out as the Goddess of Death was still available and had a perfect line of sight to the spawn. Heading in towards point number 3, Eternity Era looking for the triple at this early stage. Meteor M is at the ready. Goddess of Death for Wuvo is almost there. Gonna try and set themselves up for what could be one last defense. Wuvo goes down again. Daxu almost has Karmic Revival, but Lumi does already have theirs and is continuing to send in the extra shots using a couple animation cancels to get a little bit quicker attacks. Cosmic Clusters to siege on in. Meteor M for God Complex into the backline, sidestep beautifully though as a lone Phils keeps it going. Cosmic Cluster to take down Wuvo out of the Goddess of Death, and with that all the ultimates are gone for DireWolves. Karmic Revival to bring back AV7 as they push on in towards the first triple cap. There's still quite a few members here, including quite a lot of the tanks to try and bring this back. Daxu has respawned. Karmic Revival, they get taken down, but they brought back IX9, and with that Soul Rejuvenation, Possum is going to try and help them tank on through. Daxu is keeping the team upright. NDA with the extra healing from that invisible boundary, and their great Psionic Vortex to zone them away, and that's a triple cap for Eternity Era. Smashing performance. Eternity Era getting the triple on round number 1 of map number 1. Best of 3 as a reminder in terms of the series and this map as we swap sides at the halfway point. Eternity Era move into the defense. Are they going to swap anything out? Looks like so far no. It's the same with DireWolves MR. They're just going to run the exact same again. They liked Eternity Era's draft. They're going to have it for themselves. Neither team making any changes, just straight up mirror match. DireWolves. They gotta put on quite the performance here. They need the triple cap in order to have any hope of winning this map. Let's see if they can do it. Eternity Era. Quite the performance so far. In fact, because we're waiting for the round to start, I will save myself some time during the break and remind you all to like, comment, and subscribe. Help with the algorithm, as I'm not paid by Marvel Rivals or NetEase. I do not currently have any sponsors, although I am open. There are some I cannot do, but I can do some, so just send an email. Let's find out. Support the channel. Help with the algorithm. Share with your friends. Tweet on Blue Sky at NetEase and Marvel Rivals saying hi at Tetcher if you want to see me on the main broadcast. But don't brigade, that is mean. down goes Alone Phil's wiped out by Wuvo right off the back as we are heading into round number 2. Astral Flock to get out of danger. Wuvo going to be pushing on in. Taking a lot of damage. They got a little bit of space created for them here by God Complex as they turn onto Ray Momo. That's going to be 2 pickups here, making 3. We're seeing DireWolves. They're making tracks. They're pushing onto the point. Still being delayed as Vive will be the one to hold the line here. But still, even they are forced back off the point. They just do not have enough bodies right now. Great split of focus with Mantis on the stairs, meaning that they have to even focus onto them or Vi. As Vi is once again going to force their way back onto the point to hold it on the overtime. Portal comes in to bring back Ray Momo, but Alone Phil's has been taken out, as is Possum with both Mantises gone. The teams are going to try and hold it, but point 1 will be taken by DireWolves, and Vi using the portal to escape rather than re-engage, to retreat back to their team without having to worry about the respawn time and spawning outside. Will break down this internal wall. They're actually going to run back to their team just so they can guaranteed get the healing and not get caught out of position alone. Jalen, only ultimate available currently for the side of DireWolves. Same Fraternity Era for NTTA. Making their way forward. IX9 trying to be the driving force, keep the zoning going, make space. Daxu moving off of the Adam Warlock, bringing out the Winter Soldier to potentially try and pull people out of these defensive positions. Not finding it, but getting good damage. Takes out NTTA before they can get Invisible Boundary. And it's another wipe. Eternity Era cleaned off the board as DireWolves continue to push on in. They were struggling on the defense. They got one real wipe onto Eternity Era, but this time DireWolves are absolutely smashing it. They have so much space right now. Zoning off the area. Strange trying to keep them away from this right engage point. That's going to be an Invisible Boundary so they can try and hold the point. Meteor M for Vi. God Complex trying to match, get a revenge shot, and it's both Invisible Women's taken out. Karmic Revival for Lumi though, bringing back 1 as they push on in. God Complex falls, IX9 falls, and this time Eternity Era not only clean up, but they clean up beautifully here. Chasing all the way back to spawn, utilizing the jump pad for maximum speed because they really want to just try and pick off people and shut down these pushes. IX9 does have Portal, going to save that though as they've still got 3.5 minutes. Pushing on in. Daxu has Kraken Impact. Going to hold on to it. Going for a side wraparound. That terrain was denying them there. That adjustable symbiotic walls here. Take a shock. Getting some very good damage here. They trap Ray Momo. Shield from Magneto. Great use of the Cloak of Levitation. And Ray Momo somehow gets out of there. AV7 will fall though. Picked off by Wuvo. Kraken Impact for Daxu. Trying to get onto the backline, finds Strange, good damage, finishes them off, another, again, chasing in, picks them off, and they've even got one more reset. Do they chase? Do they dive? Do they green? Yes, they do. No, they let it go. Ooh, cutting that close. But this does mean that DireWolves make it to point number 2, and they are on track to try it and tie this up and force an overtime. Cook not landing. Trying to make space. IX9 has the Eye of Agamotto, as does Ray Momo. Goddess of Death at the ready. Meteor M's around to be ready for both the Magnetos here. AV7 taking quite a bit of damage here, but finds Possum on the rotation. Looks for Daxu to finish the blow, but cannot get the finishing shot here. They're so low. Finally taken out by Ray Momo, and they're going to be forced back to spawn once again. DireWolves taken off the point. They've once again got 3.5 minutes left to try and make this 3rd point happen. Alone Phils comes back with the cocoon. Invisible Boundary for Jalen. They're going to try and make it happen. NTTA just will match. Not going to take the risk here. Bringing it back. Eye of Agamotto for Ray Momo. Incredible engage from the Invisible Boundary with the Cloak of Levitation launch. Sets that up beautifully. And they use 2 ults to wipe the entire team once again. Nicely done. AV7 can see him. Starts to drop some damage. Needs to be careful not to get taken out themselves, though. Daxter with Tainted Shocks coming in for a little bit of extra poke themselves. Wuvo takes another effective duel. Alone fills with the Soul Rejuvenation, but a Nayavamoto Meteor M. They tag on through. Nicely done to Tertiera. And that's going to give an opportunity for Lumi to try a Karmic Revival, which they will do. They have to cocoon themselves, though, as they get popped immediately. The healing output is coming in. Soul Bond all on cooldown, not available. Kraken Impact out the ready. If they could wait out the opportunity to dive on in here, the tunnel. That's Lumi. They sidestep it, preventing the reset. And now Daxo is in serious trouble. Isolated from the team, taken down, picked off. Beautifully done, Lumi. With the sidestep to dodge that, as Wuvo was taken to the sky with that Goddess of Death trying to take out Vi. Looking for the finishing blow. They find it. DireWolves continuing to push in. They're looking for the triple cap of their own to even up this series, to try and take us to a tiebreaker on the first map. They cruise on in. Eternity Era, no ultimates yet at the ready, but they're still going to try and defend this. There's nothing left available for DireWolves either. They've got 1.5 minutes left to try and make this happen. Portal not ready, meaning they have to try and make it happen here. Invisible Boundary coming in. Possum matching with a Soul Rejuvenation. Jalen has their own Invisible Boundary at the ready. Ayavagamoto! Possum goes down. The Invisible Boundary from Jalen not going to catch them. And we're starting to see DireWolves get whittled down one by one. We might have to start to see some hero swaps to get the fast rotation, because it's a long walk back to the point. Eternity Era will hold. They push all the way back. Are we going to see some hero swaps? Portal, not for another 2 minutes. They're not going to have enough time to make their way in here. They've got to just go on foot. They do not swap characters. They're going to try and march it. IX9 leading the charge, taking a lot of damage, but will get healed up as they make their way forward. Daxu, Bionic Hook, pulling in, immediately setting up a lone fills for the Soul Rejuvenation. AV7 takes out Possum, Ayavagamoto. Lumi goes down. Vi with the Meteor M completely blocked out, but Lumi will revive here, and they do have that Karmic Revival needed if need be, as they take out God Complex. IX9 goes down, and we gotta start seeing some swaps, because they've only got 22 seconds. We need a fast-moving character to try and reach the point. It doesn't matter if you can cap it, if you don't get there in the first place. But no, they're sticking with the slow walkers. They're just not going to touch it. They cannot move fast enough to touch this point, even if they charge all the way through. This is going to be round number 1, going over to Eternity Era. Goddess of Death to try and siege them, even as they march their way in. But no swaps to fast characters means they cannot touch the point fast enough. You gotta sometimes take the risk to Venom, to Captain America, to rush on in, to try and contest, but no one takes it there. And as such, Eternity Era take round number 1. First map goes over to them, and Ray Momo takes the MVP. I love that their initials are E. The sound they make when they win. Ray Momo, 35 eliminations. 38, 43 for AV7, being the main DPS there, the only duelist on this composition. 26 of those 43 were final hits. Smashing through for their team there. But the damage, not even that much more. It's all about those headshots, those final hits there from AV7. 24k damage, only 4k more than Raymomo, only 2k more than Vi. Nicely done. Very high elimination game for both of these teams. 38k damage blocked. Best on their team, but will be absolutely outpaced by the 47k damage blocked of IX9 and 42 by God Complex, who only went down 8 times. That's only 2 more times than Raymomo. Doing some good work for their team there, getting 8 final hits of their own. 23 eliminations. IX9 trying to keep up too. 16k damage. Doing some good work. Wuvo keeping up quite nicely there. Only 3k damage less. 14 final hits. 30 eliminations. In any other game, that would be more than acceptable. But in this one, it just wasn't enough. Least amount of times getting eliminated. 4, sorry. Vi only getting taken out 4 times. Just beating out NTTA. And top healing. 36k. It's gonna be Jalen. 26k for Possum, keeping up quite well. NTTA with 30, doing a great job there. Then we got Alone Fills. You can see they also got 11k damage. So they were keeping up that way. Doing damage boosts for their teams as well, allowing AV7 to just really capitalize. And Lumi with 15k, you expect the Adam Warlock to get the lowest healing output out of all of them. Decent damage output though, 5 final hits. Then the revives would have definitely added on top of that as well, adding some serious value. That's going to be round number 1, ladies and gentlemen. I've already done my my spiel. Just remember, members can get videos early and you support me directly, or you can send a donation as a thanks. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get ourselves set up for map number 2.
Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You were not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon now. Sharp as many, but got hard, I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You were not as tough. Don't wanna test your luck with me.
And we are back for map number 2. It is Eternity Era on defense and DireWolves on attack once again. This time we are heading to Hall of Jalia. What are we going to see for them? Loki, going to be the first bat away by DireWolves. With so many invisible wormers and mantises. Lunar Snow was bad now. The ability to get clones would be huge. Adam protected again for Eternity Era. They seem to be enjoying it. And this time they take out the Bucky Barnes. Daxu creating a little bit of intimidation for them. They did seem to struggle. The Spanic hooks punishing them a little bit sometimes. So they choose to get rid of it. Don't want to face it again. DireWolves now. What did they choose to protect? Psylocke. Interesting. A little bit of flank potential. Their second ban, they take out Mantis. Try to remove that team-up potential with the Adam Warlock. Very sensible. And the mod will be removed. They can't really remove both Lunar Snow and the mod. They want to make sure they have good healing options for themselves. So they're going to pick it up. And it looks like... Ooh, they're thinking about bringing out the Adam. They're deciding against it. Eternity Era on defense, they choose Wolverine. Instead of that third strategist. Daxu, unsurprisingly, they protected that Psylocke, so they will be bringing that in themselves. Alone feels a little indecisive on which front line they want to go for, which backline diver. Looks like it's going to be either Magic or Wolverine. They're just currently deciding between the two. Or Star-Lord. Looks like Star-Lord will be, baited. Wolverine, okay, full circle, we're back. So Eternity Era have that little bit of dive potential. Maybe 7 being the main damage dealer here, the main duelist. Going to be looking to pick people off. Wuvo. Let's see if they could take a win this time. They were doing huge work for their team this time. Now they've got a little bit of relief. With Daxu on that Psylocke, it's going to try and zone out and harass AV7 on that backline. So there is a chance that they may be able to capitalize on this. Let's see what they do. Ray Momo. No counter portal plays, meaning IX9 is going to be bringing this in uncontested. Does take a little bit of damage, so the portal is spotted. Healed up full. Round the corner, so they got a little bit of freedom as they make their way in here. The they're still going to try and contest it. Look at the wraparound. Ray Momo looking to see if they have an opportunity to try and push on through to see if they can make space. Vi taking a lot of damage here. Forced down to the low ground. Map heal stolen by Alonefills here, so they're forced to wait for their team to heal him up. Gets taken out by the map damage as Wuvo gets a double, capitalizing through triple. And that is DireWolves once again smashing the defense of Eternity Era. And Eternity Era, something about what they're doing here. They seem to struggle a little bit more on defense than they do on attack as DireWolves. They find the angle, they're able to engage, and they push on in. Ray Momo returning with their team. They have the opportunity to portal. They decide against it. Just going to try and hold the corner. Heading out to the courtyard. Pushing in. Trying to get onto Strange. Neither one has an Eye of Agamotto at the ready yet, but they're still trying to play as if they do. Picking off Wovo. Wovo goes down with a massive burst. Frozen by the Lunar Snow. Not enough damage to finish them off yet. A little bit of extra healing with the Snowflake from Luna. Possum with their own Lunar Snow here. The opportunity to try and turn this round. Wovo up on the high ground. The whole team's beginning to step up here. Sonic Vortex. Make it a little bit hard to do. That's going to be a Soul Siphon, but not finding the shots they wanted to AV7. Who's trying to win the duel. Invisible Boundary to give them the opportunity to push on up, floating down. Counter Invisible Boundary. That's going to be Lumi taken out. Big damage output here. Astral Flock to get out of danger, but picked off by AV7, who will head into the Goddess of Death to keep themselves safe as they were zoned out. Down goes the backline. Jaylun taken down and pushing Daxu out of the healing to try and get the finishing blow. Not able to do so. Great Astral Flock to dodge the Eye of Agamotto, which will find the Alonefills there, but Alonefills will pull in IX9 for some revenge. Meteor M for God Complex. There is just no chill between these teams. God Complex with the counter shielding to try and take them through, as that is a fate of both worlds from Lumi to try and let them hold the point to keep the delay going. IX9 drops low, Wuvo respawning, Astral Flock up to the high ground as they do have a Goddess of Death of their own. Alonefills and Ray Momo back on their way in as Lumi keeps the team topped up. Daxu has moved over to the Star-Lord. Himself a little bit of protection. Final stand! Takes them out with the Soul Siphon, but goes down to AV7, who just has their number, just targeting Wuvo every time. Finds Daxu, and immediate pickup.
Clearly you needed some help.
Another elimination, Eternity Era. Back and forth fights, but they are still able to take down DireWolves once again. Wuvo has had ultimate for a while, but hasn't been able to use it because they keep getting wiped before they can activate it. Invisible Boundary, though. That could give them the opportunity they need to try and make this happen. Eye of Agamotto wraparound from Ray Momo. Sets that up beautifully. By as the Meteor M, they only take down Wuvo again, though. Wuvo is getting bullied here. They did so well last game. Eternity Era have realized that they are the threat and they are targeting them down. Wuvo, Goddess of Death, still at the ready. Good damage, can't find the finishing blow. Beginning to push up. Daxu goes down. Up and above, they're just going to activate it. But they're down a member here. There's the counter Goddess of Death. Takes out one. Looks for two. Not able to get the finishing blow. Meteor M to block it by Vi. And that's going to allow AV7 to just basically be free up here in the high ground. Do good damage. Takes out J-Lo. Does go down to Daxu, though, who is suddenly deep in the backline doing great damage. Jay focus down. Will go down. NTTA is falling. J-Luna respawning with the rest of their team. Lumi healing up. I sort of forgot how to speak partway through that fight there. I have no idea what I said. Lumi is keeping the team topped up as best as they can. Alonefills getting topped up. Another high ground wraparound from DireWolves. Invisible Boundary at the ready. How aggressive do they want to be? Tries to pull them in. Keep the team topped up. Wuvo No more ultimate here, but they do still have the opportunity with the Galactic Legend of Daxu. If they wish to try and make an aggressive wraparound play, Soul Siphon to pull him in, flips to dodge the damage output, but Daxu is likely gonna fall here. Needs the healing, will get it with the shield, and taken down immediately. AV7 once again, just on point. Invisible Boundary, that is gonna try and dissuade Loadfields. Pulled in with the force push, big damage output, charge into the backline to force him out of the Invisible Boundary with the final stand, gets the double, and Loadfields once again sets up with Vi for a quadruple kill, and DireWolves' push is once again shut down. 46 seconds left. IX9 does have Portal, and they're going to use it. To the rooftop. Trying to give them one last chance at an ambush. Taken off the edge, though! Shut down! Aya Magamoto was so close to being ready. Daxu comes in with the Galactic Legend with that Ionic Barrier from the help of Magneto to try and protect them through this. That's going to be an Invisible Boundary as the portal is still up, allowing the team to keep coming in and reinforcements. Daxu gave them a little bit of extra space. Wuvo with the Goddess of Death is starting to get him. Getting a couple pickups. Astral Flock to back out. Snipes Vi. And Eternity Era are cleaned out. Overtime is active, but the cart is moving. They push up. They've got to keep them zoned. They've got to keep the pressure on right now, or they could get picked off so easily. Wuvo up to the high ground to try and make some space. Momo is zoning out. Aya Magamoto is available for both of the strangers here. Both looking for an opportunity to set up for their team to try and take this round in their favor. Right now, IX9 setting up beautifully, tackled in by Wolverine, shielded by the Doctor, by the Magneto to give them the space. IX9 might have to go for the launch here to get this push going as the members are dropping low. They might not even need it, actually, as they push on in. That's going to be a fate of both worlds. That's going to prevent any setup. Possum has swapped over to the rocket here. Gives them a C for a little bit of extra protection. Portal comes in to protect the rest of the team and get them onto the point so they can try and hold this on the overtime as Eternity Era are dropping down one by one. AV7 trying to shoot through the portal, zoned away, and point two is going to be grabbed by DireWolves as they keep on going. And Aya Magamoto so patiently held onto by the side of DireWolves. IX9 doing huge work for their team, keeping that available. Ray Momo now going to be looking for their own here. Good block. Up to the high ground. Cloak of Levitation needs to back away. Rejoin the team as they get a little bit of damage. God Complex goes down and is not brought back in the BRB. Healing output. He's pretty strong right now. Alone Phil's waiting for the opportunity to try and catch someone out of position. Up to the high ground. So that they can sneak around. Spotted by Daxu, though. That's going to be a retreat. Don't want to get caught out here. Wuvo. On the counter, though. Absolute punish onto Alone Phil's. Aya Magamoto from Ray Momo, but there is an Invisible Boundary dropped here to try and hold it down. But Possum and Jailer go down. Sia was popped off in time. Wuvo, Astral Flock picked off before they could ultimate here. And this is going to be Eternity Era holding the line, and this might be perfect timing because there's only 12 seconds left. Is anyone touching the point right now? Daxu might have to touch the point because they have 6, 5, 4, 3. Even if IX9 gets the portal, if no one touches, then overtime will not tick. Eternity Era timing the wipe perfectly. That is going to be 2.56.63 meters. DireWolves now on the defense. That's not bad, though. That's a really good push. But now they have to put a stop to Eternity Era. If DireWolves can take this, they will even up the score, and we will be heading to a map number 3. If Eternity Era can win this, DireWolves will be sent down to the lower bracket. And Eternity Era will continue their journey through the upper bracket to try and outperform where they got to last time. Give it a second, wait for the game to stabilize. Good heavens. Eternity Era.
30 seconds before you attack.
No real changes in their composition here, sticking with that Star-Lord. 2 Vanguard, 2 Strategist. The exact same thing for DireWolves. Both teams trusting the composition, mirror matching. Bringing it back in.
The battle starts in 5, 4,
Eternity Era
2, 1.
will make one change.
Do is catch
Black
this mission,
Panther
Got it?
makes an appearance. Portal coming in. IX9 will not be mirroring. Ray Momo wrapping it around to the side, setting up as Alone fills. Will flank around to the side. Main team opening up the main entrance, creating a distraction, leaving it open for Alone fills to try and step up from behind and get huge damage output, assisting their team in a full team wipe. Eternity Era point number 1 is going over to them unless IX9 can pull off the portal of a lifetime, but it's just not going to be quick enough. And Eternity Era absolutely smashed that.
Help get that
Making
lead
their
to
way
its
forward, looking to
destination.
see if they can get a wraparound pickoff to see if they can keep this pressure on and keep capitalizing. Finds the backline. Great Soul Siphon. Shuts down Lone Fills. They are able to get away, but that was such a good reaction by Wuvo. Continuing to send in those damage outputs. No ultimates yet available for either team. Astral Flock up to the high ground. Gets the shield from the Invisible Woman, allowing them to basically attack for free up here. Soul Cyber to try and pull in A7. But AV7 able to get out of danger. Alone Fills in the backline, takes out Possum. And will escape, will get away. Ray Momo picks up the double there. Alone Fills finds Daxu, and Vi gets God Complex. And Eternity Era are just speedrunning this. Good heavens.
There. Don't turn back now.
They are legitimately just pushing in. That car has barely stopped moving. Alone Fills in the hallway trying to prevent high ground. That is already point number 2 taken as they are cruising in to that finish line. Possum goes down. Vi gets frozen, but will be popped up very quickly. There is the finish line. And DireWolves, they're just getting popped on cooldown here. They can't step in at all. Eternity Era, they're like a completely different team on attack to defense. Ray Momo trying to keep them zoned down. Even has Aya Wakamoto if they need to try and stop them from pushing on in here. Whole team's got them zoned. Meteor M is at the ready. Wuvo goes down again to AV7. Meteor M for God Complex. They're burning basically everything. Vi with their own Meteor M finds nothing, but God Complex is able to take down Entity A. Daxu with the Galactic Legend to try and burn through this, but that's going to be Hella doing huge damage, huge work, taking them out. Alone Fills past this set, grabs it, and finish line is hit.
2, 2.
That was so fast. 5 minutes left. And Eternity Era will take the 2-0 in this series. 3-2 on the map. Vi takes MVP. And that is a solid win for Eternity Era on the tax. Need to start locking down that defense a little bit, as DireWolves did get some serious momentum going there. But that is still going to be Eternity Era taking the 2-0. They will move on in the upper bracket. DireWolves are not out yet. I'm going to keep an eye on them, see if we can see maybe some of the lower bracket games, because that was really strong. I'd love to see how they perform. See if they can pull off an incredible lower bracket run. Eternity Era, though, they continue their journey to try and make their way back. Last time, like I said, they lost in the lower bracket. They lost at lower bracket round 12. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is top 8, I believe. Yeah, that's top 8. So they made it top 8 last time, losing to the teams that came second and first. Let's see if they can make it further this season. Best of luck to them. Let's look at the statistics. MVP, Vi, 32 eliminations. This time topping it out. Did still get sniped by AV7, with 18 final hits, but still less eliminations with 28. 19 eliminations and 11 final hits for Wuvo, who did some serious work for their team. Least amount of times getting eliminated once again. Vi doing huge work, only getting taken out 3 times, doing 16k damage, second highest in the game. Yep, just behind AV7. Able to beat out Wuvo even. Doing so much work. Top damage tanks though. IX9 and God Complex with 37 and 30k damage blocked. IX9 doing as much work as they could there. 13k damage as well. Not half bad. Really trying to make something happen. But they did get taken out 10 times. Second highest amount in the game. Most was Wuvo. We talked about it. They 100% targeted Wuvo. Wuvo was the one doing a huge amount of work for the side of DireWolves, so they targeted Wuvo to try and remove that threat from the board. It's smart. It's strategy. Top healing. Very close. We got 23k for NTTA. 24k, almost exactly the same. 500 in it between Lumi, just getting outperformed by Possum, and 25k. 400 more for Jalen, who was able to snipe it at the end and also got 5 final hits. Nicely done, Jalen, actually popping off there. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be it. And it's also probably going to be it for the games I'm casting today. We're just going to call that for the day, take a rest, because I am sweaty. Going to wait for tomorrow to cover some of the European and NA games for round 2. But I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed me bringing you these games once again. I'm not an official caster. I've not been reached out to by netties or rivals, although if you want to bring their attention to me, I'm Tetcher on most social media. If you want to send it on their official channels, but don't brigade. That's rude. Single messages only. Do not spam all the things. That is absolutely toxic. Mobilize, my children. That's stupid. Alright, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And I will see you tomorrow for more Marvel Rivals Championship Series. I love my job. See you all tomorrow.